Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. And man, does it feel so good to be back. Guys, as many of you know, I had been basically on sick leave for about the last week or so. I'd been sick for a little over 2 weeks, but this last week is what hit me hardest, and not exactly sure what it was. All the tests came back negative, your COVID test, your flu, your strep, everything. No idea what the problem was, but it was rough to say the least. But I'm so glad to be back and cannot thank you guys enough for all of the kind words and the support and all the comments, the well wishes, the emails we received, the comments we received on the video that Carter posted, which again, thanks to him, I'm so glad he was able to get that out so you guys had an update of what was going on. But again, cannot thank you guys enough for all the support and all the well wishes. I'm still going through them, trying to respond to all of them, but I really appreciate it. But we're back now, basically 100%. Ready to get going, talking some college football again. I can promise you we're not going to go anywhere again like that anytime soon. So again, I really appreciate it, guys. And again, we're so glad to be back. Talking college football, a huge Week 9 coming your way this Saturday. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. Let's forget the rest of the pleasantries like we normally do. I've delayed this stuff long enough, right? But we look at Week 9. It is one of the bigger weekends of college football we've had this season. And I would say it's especially big for the Big Ten. Huge Big Ten matchups. Michigan, Michigan State, the highlight of the entire weekend. But you've got Penn State, Ohio State as well. You've got Iowa, Wisconsin. You know, we're going to really see some separation within the conference this Saturday. And of course, we have a handful of other games we'll discuss as well. But a huge Saturday coming your way. Let's start up top. Number 6, Michigan. Number 8, Michigan State. It's our game of the week. So our deeper analysis for this game will come out tomorrow on Thursday. That's where we'll share our official predicted winner from Michigan and Michigan State. But a brief preview. This is going to be a great matchup. The battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy. A series between these two rivals has been split down the middle the last 6 meetings. Michigan's won 3, Michigan State's won 3. The Spartans actually winning 27-24 in Ann Arbor just last year. Michigan State obviously been one of the bigger surprises in all of college football this year, sitting at number 8, sitting at 7-0. This is going to be a great battle between two very good run games. Michigan is averaging 253.3 rushing yards per game with Blake Corum, who has 729 yards and 10 touchdowns. Michigan State, on the other hand, they're averaging 200.4 rushing yards per game, led by Kenneth Walker III, who has 997 yards and 9 touchdowns. Arguably the best, well, at least one of the best running backs in the Big Ten, maybe even in the entire country. So great battle between two solid run games, which leads me to believe it could come down to quarterback play that makes a difference in this one. Is Cade McNamara from Michigan going to be able to exploit a very weak Michigan State secondary, one that's allowing over 285 passing yards per game, or is Peyton Thorne going to continue to do what he's doing? He's averaging over 250 passing yards per game this year. Is he going to be able to use those elusive, big-time Michigan State wide receivers and be able to exploit this Michigan defense that's been great against the run, great in the front 7, but really hasn't faced really a challenge through the air like they will against the Spartans? So a huge game in East Lansing on Saturday. Again, we'll have our projected winner, more analysis on that on Thursday, but that's your game of the week. That's the game you have to watch, and it's actually an 11 a.m. Central Time kickoff on Saturday. Number 9, Iowa at Wisconsin, the second of 3 really big Big Ten games this Saturday. Why is this game big? It's a top 10 team versus an unranked team. Why is it big? Well, because if Wisconsin wins this game, chaos ensues in the Big Ten West. Iowa, despite the loss to Purdue, is still number 1 in the division, right? The Hawkeyes are 3-1. Well, Wisconsin is 2-2. So if Wisconsin were to win this game, they're 3-2. Iowa's 3-2. And let's keep in mind Minnesota is a bit of a playmaker right now. 3-1 in conference. The Golden Gophers, don't rule them out, but we'll touch on them much further down the road. They got a game against Northwestern. But this game, arguably against the top 2 teams in the West, is huge. Could really determine who wins the Big Ten West and makes that Big Ten championship game. Iowa beat Wisconsin last year 28-7, snapping a 4-game losing streak to the Badgers. So you know Wisconsin wants to redeem themselves after that embarrassing loss last year. The question is, can they do it? Do they have what it takes to do it? We know that when Iowa and Wisconsin face off, you're going to see two teams that are great defensively and great up front in the trenches. This is exactly what you're going to see this year too. Iowa's defense is ridiculous still after getting annihilated by Purdue. Still fantastic, allowing just 14.6 points per game. Wisconsin's allowing just 18.4 points per game. So both those, well under 20 points, pretty dang good. The rushing defenses are great as well. Iowa allowing just 89.7 rushing yards per game, while Wisconsin's allowing just 53.3 rushing yards per game. I believe they allowed negative 13 yards last week against Purdue. I mean, it's unreal. This Wisconsin front seven, this Wisconsin rushing defense is great. The problem for Wisconsin, as it has been for years, is their offense. Can Wisconsin generate enough offense to win a big-time game like this, especially against an elite defense like Iowa? The Badgers had 290 rushing yards last week against Purdue. We know Wisconsin wants to run the ball. We know Iowa wants to run the ball. But the Badgers do not have a quarterback. Graham Mertz isn't going to be a guy that's going to lead you on a game-winning drive to win the game. Graham Mertz has not proven to us that he can win the big-time games and perform at an elite level with Wisconsin, unless you count his first two games against Illinois and Michigan just last year. After that, he fell off and has not been the same. So I look at this game, guys. Again, it's two great defenses, two defenses that can shut down the run. At the end of the day, it comes down to which team do I think can win the game through the air if needed. And I like Spencer Petras in Iowa more than I like Wisconsin and Graham Mertz. I believe Iowa can win this game through the air. They were burned through the air against Purdue, but they have what it takes barely to win this game through the air against Wisconsin if needed, because I do not have faith in the Badgers' passing attack to do that. Both teams stop the run. It's a low-scoring game. Iowa gets the job done behind the strength of their defense. Let's keep in mind the Hawkeyes still have their eyes set on the Big Ten title and still have that outside shot of making the college football playoff if they were to win out. A lot more to play for here for Iowa than the Badgers. Moving down to the SEC, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Number 1, Georgia, back in action after a bye week, taking on Florida. And here's the thing, guys. This is a great rivalry. I think it's a fantastic rivalry matchup, one of the better ones and underrated rivalries in all of college football. But Florida here is just trying to play spoiler. Plain and simple. If Florida wins this game, all they do is create chaos and puts more pressure on Georgia to win the SEC. Because the Gators, if they win, they're not winning the SEC East. It's not happening. The Gators have 3 losses. 3 conference losses already to Alabama, Kentucky, and LSU. So the Gators are just trying to play spoiler here, to take down a rival, to get a big win, and create chaos. And with the year we're having, we wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. We wouldn't be surprised to see Florida take down Georgia. This is our second game of the week, so extra analysis and our winner on this game will be shared on Friday, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But the brief preview is this. Florida won last year 44-28 over Georgia. Last year's Florida team is light years better than the Florida team we're seeing this year. Wouldn't expect, if Florida were to win by 16 like they did last year. The problem with the Gators is they have major quarterback questions. Anthony Richardson, Emory Jones. Dan Mullen says he's going to play both. But why? Why not just go with Anthony Richardson, who clearly is the better quarterback for the Gators? He's more elusive, he's more explosive, he can do it all, and I believe he gives Florida the best chance to win, not just against Georgia, but against any team that the Gators face. Florida is averaging over 240 passing yards per game and over 250 rushing yards per game. They have the offense and might be the most difficult offense that Georgia has faced all year. But as we know, Georgia has the best, one of the best at least, rushing defenses in the country, allowing just 62.3 rushing yards per game. As a whole, Georgia does have the best defense in the country. The Bulldogs are allowing just 6.6 total points per game. 6.6 total points per game. And when you look at the Bulldogs offense, yes, they have quarterback questions too. Kirby Smart says he's going to see who plays better in practice, Stetson Bennett or JT Daniels. My unpopular opinion, people are going to maybe disagree, keep riding Stetson Bennett. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Stetson Bennett has thrown for over nearly 1,000 yards, 996 yards, 11 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He has led Georgia to this point. Not JT Daniels. Stetson Bennett and the Georgia defense especially has gotten them to this point, to the number 1 spot in the country, to the dominant performances week in and week out. Why put in JT Daniels, who, yes, may be the better quarterback, but why break up that consistency? Why break up that chemistry when Bennett has been playing just fine and it has been averaging over 237 passing yards per game? Bennett, to me, is the man right now until proven otherwise, until JT can really get fully healthy and prove that he can stay fully healthy. Big time game down in Jacksonville on Friday. On Saturday. More analysis coming out on Friday. Again, big time rivalry game. Anything can happen two teams with quarterback questions, one team with a mediocre defense, one with the best in the entire country. Sticking in the SEC, number 10 Ole Miss and number 18 Auburn. The winner of this game solidifies themselves as the number 2 team in the SEC West. The kicker is if Auburn were to win this game, it could set up a major showdown against Alabama in the Iron Bowl if the Tigers were to win out up until that point. So lots at stake here, right? Top 20 showdown, good Ole Miss offense, an Auburn team that I think has exceeded expectations in year one under Brian Harsin. You look at this game, guys. Auburn won last year against Ole Miss, 35-28, in a bit of a controversial fashion, if some would say. Some disagree, some do agree. However you want to phrase it, Auburn got the win regardless. They now have to find a way, even though the game's at home, they now have to find a way to slow down Matt Corral, the Heisman favorite for many, who has thrown for over 1,900 yards, 15 touchdowns, 1 interception. Matt Corral's thrown just 1 interception after countless multi-interception games last year, just 1 this year. Let's also not forget that he's the leading rusher for Ole Miss right now with 474 yards and 9 rushing touchdowns. The Rebels are averaging over 540 offensive yards per game, while Auburn defensively is only allowing 340.6 yards per game, including just 122 on the ground. The Tigers know how to slow down the rushing attack, so they can slow down Jerry and Ely. They can slow down Matt Corral. Can they slow down Matt Corral through the air, though? That is the million-dollar question. This is a game, guys, I think on Saturday, you see it be a potential high-scoring game. Ole Miss's defense is better. It's getting better. Still not that great, though. Auburn's defense, relatively solid. But the Auburn offense with Bo Nix and Jarquez Hunter and Tank Bigsby, their rushing attack that's averaging 196 rushing yards per game, they have what it takes to exploit an Ole Miss defense that's giving up nearly 180 rushing yards per game. So this is a game that I really could see going back and forth, score for score, 35-28, 42-35, however you want to phrase it. At the end of the day, Auburn's going to win again. I like Auburn in a small upset over the Rebels. The Tigers are coming off a bye week. They've got home field advantage, and I believe their defense does have what it takes to slow down Matt Corral and Ole Miss. An Ole Miss team, again, that's only playing in their 3rd true road game of the year. They fell to Alabama early in the year, barely escaped Tennessee in a very controversial game. Now they come onto Jordan-Hare Stadium at night. I like Brian Harsin and the Tigers to win this game. They're the number 2 team in the SEC West, and things could get interesting in that Iron Bowl if the Tigers continue to take care of business. Final game up here, number 20 Penn State and number 5 Ohio State. Again, this game would be one of our games of the week if Penn State hadn't blown it against Illinois. But every year Penn State does this, right? Every year Penn State finds a way to lose a game they shouldn't, and it makes the game against Ohio State a little less exciting or ruins their playoff hopes, whatever it is. Penn State finds a way. There's a will, there's a way. And Penn State did it, losing in 9 overtimes last week to Illinois. Unbelievable. But let's keep in mind that Penn State has yet to play Ohio State. Penn State has yet to play Michigan. They've yet to play Michigan State. So the Nittany Lions have a chance to maybe make some noise still nationally, make some noise in the Big Ten East if they can win all of those games. The thing is, they're not. The thing is, they're not going to. Ohio State, you can play devil's advocate here and say, look, the Buckeyes are playing just as good as anybody in the country right now. After that Oregon loss, people start to freak out. The Buckeyes are playing some great ball. But Ohio State, this is their first game against a team with a winning record in their in the last 4 or 5 games. You know, who have they beat? They beat Tulsa, they beat Akron, they beat Rutgers, they beat Maryland, they beat Indiana. This is the best team they've played since they've played Oregon. Ohio State's been putting up great numbers, and they've been beating up on teams the way they should, but they haven't played a team Penn State's caliber since Oregon. And Penn State's defense can hang with Ohio State. Yes, the Buckeyes are averaging over 550 yards per game. 559.3 to be exact. Yes, Travion Henderson's playing great ball. 693 yards and 11 touchdowns. C.J. Stroud's playing great. But Penn State's defense is allowing just 324.4 total yards per game. Here's the thing, though, guys. Penn State's defense eventually is going to get worn down because while Ohio State's defense still is a little suspect, Sean Clifford is expected to play on Saturday. Expected to be fully healthy, but is he really? I don't expect Penn State to have much success running the ball against the Buckeyes, which means Clifford's going to have to win this game solely through the air. Ohio State will be able to shut that down. Their secondary will be able to wake up, slow that down. And again, history is any indication, we're going to be in for a relatively close game again between the Nittany Lions and the Buckeyes. The last 4 have been decided by an average of 6.5 points per game, including 2 one-point Ohio State victories in 2017 and 2018. But at the end of the day, the game is in Columbus. You question Penn State's motivation after the heartbreaking home loss to Illinois, the inexcusable home loss to Illinois. I've got to go with the Buckeyes at home, who, again, have seen a resurgence since their struggles early on in the year. They're going to continue their way to trying to win the Big Ten East. Still have yet to play Michigan. Still have to play Michigan State. But Ohio State at home will defeat Penn State. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them win this game by double digits, guys. Hope I'm wrong. Hope we get to see a great game between these two. But right now, I'm not banking on it. So there you have it, guys. Your top 5 games of Week 9. Again, one of the bigger weekends of college football we've had in a while. And it's been a wild year, right? We've seen upsets left and right. You're going to see it again on Saturday. We're going to see some top teams go down. That's going to shake up the conference races. It's going to shake up the playoff races. That's just the type of year we're having. But these are the big games, ones that will continue to separate the contenders from the pretenders in the individual conferences, especially the Big Ten, but also on the playoff stage as well. So make sure you catch these 5 games. Make sure you catch the others. We've got Texas and Baylor. We've got Virginia and BYU. So many other big games out there that we haven't even mentioned that are going to continue to make up a great college football weekend, and you do not want to miss any of it. So guys, again, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. We're so happy to be back. And again, cannot thank you all enough for your entire support and for all the well wishes and stuff like that. We really cannot thank you enough, and we really do appreciate it. It means the world to us. So glad to be back. We're not going anywhere again anytime soon. As always, make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. Go sign up for the Expert Picks. Our Week 9 picks just came out today for both college and NFL. We're on a roll on both, so do not miss out on that. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.